The Cadaver Synod of 897 CE stands as one of the most macabre and politically charged episodes in the history of the medieval papacy, revealing the extent to which religious authority in late 9th century Rome was entangled with factional power struggles. Far from being an isolated act of madness, the trial of a dead pope was the culmination of years of political conflict, personal rivalries, and shifting alliances between powerful Roman families and external rulers, particularly those competing for control of the Holy Roman Empire. At the center of the controversy was Pope Formosus, who had served as Bishop of Porto before becoming Pope in 891 CE. Even during his lifetime, Formosus was a divisive figure. Earlier in his career, he had been accused of ambition and irregular conduct, including allegedly seeking to become bishop of multiple sees, which violated church law. These accusations led to his excommunication at one point, although he was later restored to favor. His papacy coincided with a turbulent period in European politics, particularly regarding the imperial succession. Formosus supported Arnulf of Carinthia, a claimant to the imperial throne, and crowned him emperor in 896, opposing the rival faction aligned with the powerful Spoletan family. This decision had lasting consequences. After Arnulf's departure from Italy and subsequent death, the Spoletan faction regained dominance in Rome. It was within this context that Stephen VI, also called Stephen VII, a pope closely aligned with the Spoletan interests, rose to power. Determined to undermine his predecessor and legitimize the Spoletan position, Stephen took the extraordinary step of putting Formosus on trial despite the fact that Formosus had been dead and buried for several months. In early 897, Stephen VI ordered Formosus's corpse exhumed from its tomb. The body, already decomposing, was dressed in full papal vestments and seated on a throne in the Lateran Basilica, the central ecclesiastical seat of Rome. A deacon was appointed to act as counsel for the deceased pope, answering the charges on his behalf. The scene was grotesque and theatrical, a rotting corpse propped up before a gathering of clergy, forced to stand trial for crimes allegedly committed during life. The charges against Formosus centered on technical violations of canon law. Chief among them was the accusation that he had unlawfully translated himself from the bishopric of Porto to the papacy, which was considered improper under church rules. He was also accused of perjury and of exercising the papal office illegitimately. Unsurprisingly, the outcome of the trial was predetermined. Formosus was found guilty on all counts. The sentence was as shocking as the trial itself. All of Formosus's papal acts were declared null and void, including ordinations he had performed. This had serious implications, as it called into question the legitimacy of clergy appointed during his papacy. In a symbolic act of condemnation, the 3 fingers of his right hand, the ones used for blessings, were cut off. His body was then stripped of its vestments, declared unworthy of burial in consecrated ground, and initially reburied in a common grave. Shortly afterward, the corpse was exhumed again and thrown into the Tiber River. Rather than consolidating authority, the Cadaver Synod provoked widespread outrage among the Roman populace. Many were horrified by the desecration of a former pope's body and the apparent abuse of religious ritual for political purposes. The spectacle undermined confidence in the papacy and intensified existing unrest in the city. Within months, a rebellion broke out against Stephen VI. He was deposed, imprisoned, and eventually strangled in his cell later that same year. The fallout from the Cadaver Synod did not end with Stephen's death. His immediate successors sought to repair the damage and restore some degree of stability. Pope Romanus, who reigned briefly after Stephen, annulled the decisions of the Synod, though his short pontificate limited his impact. More significantly, Pope Theodore II convened a synod later in 897 that formally invalidated the Cadaver Synod, rehabilitated Formosus's reputation, and ordered his remains, reportedly recovered from the Tiber, to be reburied with proper honors in St. Peter's Basilica. However, the controversy continued for years. Pope John IX, 898 to 900, reinforced Theodore's actions by holding additional councils that condemned the Cadaver Synod, prohibited the future trial of the dead, and reaffirmed the validity of Formosus's ordinations. Despite these efforts, the issue resurfaced once more under Pope Sergius III, 904 to 911, who had been associated with the anti-Formosan faction. Sergius reportedly upheld the condemnation of Formosus again, illustrating how deeply entrenched the divisions remained. The Cadaver Synod is often cited as emblematic of what historians sometimes call the Saeculum Obscurum, or Dark Age of the papacy, a period marked by political instability, corruption, and the dominance of local Roman elites over church affairs. While the term can oversimplify a complex era, the events of 897 undeniably demonstrate the vulnerability of the papacy to secular influence and internal factionalism. Beyond its immediate political context, the Cadaver Synod raises broader questions about authority, legitimacy, and the use of ritual. The trial of a courts was not merely an act of vengeance, it was a symbolic attempt to rewrite history by invalidating a predecessor's actions and, by extension, the political order he had supported. In a society where religious authority carried immense weight, such gestures had real consequences, affecting not only high politics but also the everyday lives of clergy and laity whose status depended on the legitimacy of sacraments. The episode has fascinated historians and writers for centuries, often serving as an example of the extremes to which power struggles can descend. While it may appear absurd or grotesque from a modern perspective, it reflects the intense stakes of medieval politics, where spiritual and temporal authority were deeply intertwined. The Cadaver Synod remains a stark reminder of how institutions can be manipulated during times of crisis and how even the most sacred offices are not immune to human ambition and conflict.